Listeners become followers, followers become fans, and fans become lifelong customers. They're not just buying what you're selling, they're buying into your vision, your mission, and your why. This is the Podcast in the Rough. Tune in every Friday for new adventurous episodes. Welcome back to another great episode of the Podcast in the Rough. This is episode 161, and I'm your host, Zebulon Thomas. And today, I'd like to update you on where I'm at doing this podcast, because I love being mobile with my podcast at times. So right now, I'm literally at my favorite park, getting ready to do a walk. It's later afternoon. The sun is, almost ready to set. It'll probably be set by the time I'm done with the walk. And I'm in my car. The perfect podcast studio because it's soundproof booth. So for this episode, I wanted to dive into something that's going to revolutionize your business and skyrocket your influence and turn your dreams into a reality. Are you ready? I'm talking about the power of podcasting, baby. That's right. I'm going to reveal 10 key breakthroughs that a podcast can create for you, the entrepreneur, the small business owner, the visionary who's ready to take life by the horns and ride it to success. It's done amazing for me, my entrepreneurship, my life. It's brought a lot of value. And I had to do an episode on this to really just deep dive and give you something of value that you can start to think about. Listen, a lot of you are on the fence with this. A lot of you are still thinking about, should I do a podcast? Is it time? When should I do this? I got a business, or I have this endeavor, or I want to do this thing. Where does podcasting fit in? I don't have enough time. Listen, we're going to get this all taken care of right now in this episode. If you're an entrepreneur, now, let me ask you this. Are you tired of the same old marketing strategies? Are you tired of shouting into the void, posting on social media, hoping that someone hears you and sees your post? Because I know I am, and I got fed up with it a long time ago, and I made some big shifts and started to create some breakthroughs, and I figured it out. The real question is, are you ready for a breakthrough? Are you ready to connect with your audience on a deep, meaningful level? And if you are, well, guess what? I have the solution for you. I have your golden ticket, and that is podcasting. Breakthrough number 1, building unshakable authority. When you have a podcast, you're the voice in the industry. Think about it. You're not just another player in the game. You're the coach. You're the referee and the star all rolled into one. Every episode you release, every word you speak, it's positioning you as the expert, the go-to, the authority in your field. And let me tell you, authority equals influence, and influence equals impact. I want to say that again. Authority equals influence, and influence equals impact. Did you know that 81% of podcast listeners say they've taken action after hearing a podcast ad? That's 81%. Show me that anywhere else. Show me where people are hearing one ad one time and then taking action right away. That number is high. And I just want to say this, that's not just a number. That is a testament to the trust and authority you build when you step behind the mic. That is the power of podcasting, my friends. That is the power that you need in your corner. And it's so easy to grab. You just got to pick up the mic. Breakthrough number 2, connecting on a deep level. Listen, in today's world, people want to hear your story. They want to know how you feel. They want to know your passions. They want to know what your next move is. They want to know that there is a real person behind the brand. And with a podcast, you can do just that. You get to have those deep conversations, that long form conversation that resonates, that touches the hearts, and that moves people to take the action that you want them to do. This isn't about just pitching and advertising and pitching. This is about really building a conversation, entertaining, educating, and really connecting with your audience. And that is done inside of a podcast. And here's the kicker. When you connect on that level, you're not just building a customer base. You're creating a loyal community, a tribe that will stand with you, support you, and grow with you. And isn't that what we all really want? To be surrounded by people who get us, who believe in us, who want us to succeed, even if they don't benefit from it. That's what I say. I want you to succeed, even if I don't benefit from it. It is so important to surround yourself with people that want to see you succeed. And what's better than that is creating a community through your podcast that surrounds a podcast where everybody wins. Everybody wants to see everybody else succeed. And ultimately, everybody does succeed. They all advance. They all get to absorb new knowledge, experiences, and take action. Breakthrough number 3, the power of consistency. Breakthrough number 3, consistency. We all know success doesn't happen overnight. If you think that, I'm telling you right now, doesn't matter how successful, how much money you have, every move forward is not going to happen overnight. It's about planting seeds. It's about watering them, nurturing them, watching them grow, figuring out how to pivot so that you can find that door, that window of opportunity to really have a breakthrough and find that success. It's not like, bam, success happens. You have small victories, but the ultimate goal is a lot of mini successes that lead into one big, amazing opportunity that then becomes your mission, your life, and your daily grind, but something that you enjoy. Design the life you want. I always say design the life you want, but you have to stay consistent. You have to have consistency in your business, your life, your workflow, all of that. If you put it down even for a minute, you got to start over. And if it's something that you feel like you have to put down, then maybe you rethink what you're doing, because it shouldn't be something you need to put down or want to put down or have to put down. It should be something that recharges you consistently and you enjoy. And that's podcasting. But if you're not someone that's thrilled about podcasting, then that's something that you use podcasting to talk about the something that does make you thrive, that you can be consistent in. So consistency is the result of showing up. It's a day in, day out, bringing the value to the table and keeping that momentum going. With a podcast, you're showing up in your audience's lives consistently, week after week. That's how you stay on top of mind. That's how you build relationships. And that's how you build trust. Breakthrough number 4, amplifying your message. Like how I spun that? Listen, I'm trying something new here. I want to shake it up. I want to do something different. Think about your podcast as a megaphone for your message. You're amplifying your ideas. You can amplify your ideas, your values, your passion to an audience that's eager to hear what you have to say. And not just locally, not just in your neighborhood or your city, but it's globally. That is the kind of reach that I'm talking about. And you know what's even cooler than that? A lot of you guys can kickstart your podcast without spending a bunch of money. Show me advertisement that's cheaper than that. Okay? That's awesome. Breakthrough number 5, monetizing your knowledge. Now, I'm not just talking about slapping some ads on your shows and calling it a day. I'm talking about leveraging your podcast to create multiple streams of income. You can offer premium content, coaching programs, online courses. Heck, you can even use micro ads within your episodes to promote your product or services around an engaging conversation. Your podcast isn't just a platform. It's a profit machine. If you don't believe me, I could show you a track record of success after track record of success with all the entrepreneurs, all the startups, and even my fellow friends and family members who've started podcasts and had the ability to generate a stream of income off of what they were talking about on, within, and around their podcast conversations. This is literally next level. And I've been saying this for years, but I figured, you know what? Let me lead by example. Let me start a podcast. Let me not plug in a bunch of accolades and all the things that I've attached to for my, to spin off success. Let me grind from the bottom up. And that's what I've been doing. I love the fact that my podcast is still small. I love the fact that not many of you have discovered this podcast yet, because it gives me that much more momentum and space between now and when they do discover it, when you do fall into this and you go and you look back and you go, wow, he's been delivering massive value about podcasting for a long time now. He's up to X amount of episodes. I'm going to go back and binge listen to these things. They're gems. They're literally the diamond in the rough. I've watched him evolve from his very first podcast through name changes of the podcast, through platforms to position the podcast, through all types of testing. And wow. And if you're a founding member, you've been with me this long, then you've been through that firsthand. You've experienced it live with me. You are a part of this podcast. This is my community. So that's the importance. I've been talking about podcasting for so long and how to do it that I'm learning and I'm getting better and better. And again, I'm just leaving the best track record for success for everybody. By the time more and more people find my podcast, join my mastermind, get involved in all the little outlets that branch off of this podcast and all these opportunities that I've been able to create, it's a gold mine. And I don't mean gold mine like I'm going to make a bunch of money. I'm saying it's just a gold mine for everybody. It's like this is a pot you can reach into and grab some massive value and apply it to your life, and then bam, see what works. And if it didn't work, come back, find something else, try it again, bam. That's been the secret to my success. That's been how I've been able to do it for myself. And I'm sharing these gold nuggets with you inside this podcast and inside my mastermind and inside my Facebook groups. I'm doing this because this excites me. This keeps me going. This is my recharge. And why not share? And that leads me into breakthrough number 6, turning listeners into loyal fans. Now think about this. When someone's listening to your podcast, they're not just hearing your words. They're feeling your words. They're feeling your passion, connecting with your energy, and getting to know the real you. This is where true loyalty is born. I mean, honestly, I'm sitting in my car right now. People are walking by on this trail. I'm at the park. The sun's starting to go down. I'm taking forever on this podcast, but I can't stop. I had to deliver this podcast because Friday's tomorrow. This is Thursday, baby. I got to get this thing up. I got to edit it, but I got to give you my all. I can't half it. That's why people come to me. That's why people tune into my podcast. They like my energy. Sometimes I'm all over the place. Sometimes I'm calm. Sometimes I give you this smooth, just vibe right here. Other times I'm like extreme. I'm like, let's go. Let's break through the wall, right? I want to give you those breakthroughs, okay? So going back to turning listeners into loyal fans. Listeners become followers, and followers become fans, and fans become lifelong customers. I'm going to say this again. Listeners become followers, followers become fans, and fans become lifelong customers. They're not just buying what you're selling. They're buying into your vision, your mission, and your why. Why do you do this? Do you have a why? What is your why? If you ever thought about the why, then maybe you need to go back and figure that out. Define it. Why are you doing this? What is your why? The why will keep you going. And this kind of connection, it's priceless. When people are a part of your why, they're never leaving. They're with you thick and thin. And that, my friends, is power. Breakthrough number 7, networking on a global scale. When's the last time you tried to tackle the world? When you podcast, you're not limited by geography. You can connect with influencers, thought leaders, and experts from anywhere in the world. Trust me, I've done this. And it's amazing. My podcast has been just an incredible, key to unlock new doors. It's been so exciting that I've been able to, find an opportunity with an entrepreneur or a celebrity or someone I've looked up to or someone that had incredible reach and a great story, and I didn't know how to break the ice, and simply just use my podcast as leverage, as an icebreaker, as an open door, or as the key to unlock the door by simply just saying, hey, I have this podcast, you have a great story, or let's start the conversation, or I would like to have you on my show as a guest. Bam, opportunity. I couldn't have done that any other way. So imagine the opportunities that come from having a platform that reaches across borders, brings people together, and builds relationship. Heck, and even open doors that you've never knew existed before. There are so many doors that I didn't even think that were available to me that would have been open, that could have been open until I started a podcast. It'll come to you, trust me. It'll come to you. And here's the magic. You're not just networking, you're collaborating. You are creating a partnership, an alliance, and joint ventures that could take your business to the heights you've only dreamed of. And I promise you that if you stay consistent, that will be your story. That could be your hero's journey. This podcasting should surround that hero's journey, not just going through something and sharing the story, but imagine that you're sharing the story in real time. And now you have support and people support you and they become part of your hero's journey. I've had endless success and opportunities with my podcast. I've built joint ventures. I've built businesses. I've made really great money. I've made incredible opportunities. I've made amazing friends, new connections all over the globe just because I have a podcast. And then it was up to me to then decide, how do I take it to the next level? And sometimes that's just improving the quality, studying and learning how to be a better host, a better interviewer, a better guest, a better co-host, a better friend, a better business entrepreneur, a better strategist, whatever that is, and share that inside the podcast. So I want you to think about this. Breakthrough number 8, monetization opportunities. Now let's talk about the money. And what a perfect timing, because the gentleman that just pulled up next to me in this really fancy car. I should probably just get him on the podcast right now. We're going to talk about money right here. Maybe he's got a podcast. Wouldn't it be awesome? He gets out and, I find out that he's got a podcast, and that's what allows him to acquire that vehicle at this time of day and have this time off. Okay. You think about that. You see someone in the intersection while you're on your lunch break and they're out there cruising on a nice motorcycle or in a convertible, a really nice car or something, or taking a walk, and you're like, what gives them the opportunity to be able to spend this time doing that? What is supporting that lifestyle? You ever think about that? Okay, so let's get back to it. Let's talk about the money. Yes, podcasting is a powerful tool for building authority, trust, and connection, but it's also a platform that you can generate revenue in multiple ways, whether it's through sponsorships, affiliate marketing, premium content, or your own podcasts and services. Your podcast can be a cash cow. And I will say this, the majority of the people that I've known that had the opportunity to make the money and didn't, it wasn't a failure. It's because they had a different relationship with money. They got afraid of it. They felt like they were greedy if they accepted it. They felt like they were sellouts, and they didn't go in that direction, and they just stopped. I'm telling you, you got to have a different relationship with money. You got to look at it different. Listen, it just comes in, it goes out. It's just the thing that makes things flow. It just allows you to show up to your problems in style. It's just a thing to help you live differently, maybe have more experiences. I'm not going to say it contributes to happiness. I'm not going to say it doesn't. I'm just going to say that you need to have a different relationship, and that relationship's going to be different for you than it is for me and other people. What is your relationship with money? But don't stop the flow. Don't put yourself in poverty or miss out on opportunities to live abundantly. I just want you to think about that. And I want you to imagine this. Imagine every episode you release is a potential income stream. Imagine that. Imagine every episode that you release could potentially make you money while you sleep, right? Or a little extra money to go on vacation, or to take your family somewhere, or to buy something that you want, or to save the money for a rainy day. I don't know, whatever you want to spend your money on. And I want you to remember this. You're not just sharing your message. You're creating value that people are willing to pay for. This is the power of podcasting. Turning your passion into profit. And I will tell you this, do not have the imposter syndrome. Do not sit here and say, I don't have enough value to charge people to give them information to add value back to them. You don't know that. Simply just offering a how-to could be the breakthrough someone else needs. There's a lot of ways that your value can add massive value to others. So don't think that you don't have value, because you do. Breakthrough number 9, content repurposing. Here is a strategy that is going to change the game for you. One podcast episode can be repurposed into a blog post, social media microclip, video content, and much more. You can flip it in so many different ways. You can trim off the front and the back. You can mix it up. You can literally move it around and build a whole different podcast off of micro clips and make one big episode. I mean, it is endless of what you can do with just one podcast episode. So I want you to remind yourself that you're not just creating a podcast episode. You are creating an entire content machine from just one conversation. Imagine someone just stuck a microphone between you and your best friend or someone you just met, and you had that long-form conversation about real life lessons, gems. Imagine how much information and knowledge you can pull from that conversation that happened between two like-minded people. Imagine the reach you can achieve. Imagine that you're speaking to your podcast listeners. You're reaching audiences across all platforms, maximizing your visibility and dominating your niche. This is how you create omnipresence. This is how you build a brand. This is how you build a legacy. This is how you build that demand where people can't stop sharing your content and talking about you because of something that you opened up and shared. You created a conversation, and you let your listeners eavesdrop on that conversation. Or you spoke directly to them and you gave them a bunch of great information. I want you to think about that. Breakthrough number 10, legacy building. Legacy building. You're like, what I'm doing here? I'm switching it. I'm trying to give you these ultimate titles. I love this person right now is looking at me like, you are crazy. You're sitting in your car with this bright yellow microphone. Yes, it's true. All the photos on my podcast episodes of my cartoon me with a bright yellow microphone. Listen, I found this microphone in the Cave Wonders, okay? This is the diamond in the rough. This is what I told you I found, and it gave me the voice to share all my secrets that I've created, learned, earned, and developed over the years. This is it. Okay, so I'm in my car with this giant yellow microphone. It's funny. It's great. And I have a yellow cord connected to my Zoom PodTrack before. So there's a background, and they're still eye contact looking at me. Should I just look at them? Just make eye contact and just keep talking? Maybe just give them the ASMR like, hey, I'm at the park. I'm doing this podcast episode. I figured maybe you'd like to join me. Yeah, I'm not creepy. Okay, so just sitting in this car. All right, listen, back to what I have here. Listen, the legacy building, okay? This is important. It's important. Let's stay focused here. I'm having fun with this episode. I really hope you are too. I hope this just breaks the ice a little bit. I wanted to next level this podcast episode, but still give you some, raw commentary, me, if you will. She's running away now. She probably thinks I'm really weird. Run! I have a yellow microphone. Okay, we're getting back to it. Building your legacy. Listen, this is the one thing that gives me chills. I have built legacies for some really powerhouse, high-profile celebrities and entrepreneurs. That's where I got this from, is working on these legacy projects. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of creepy at times, but you realize that there's a bigger picture and it lives long after, right, the content creator. It's amazing. So I want you to think about legacy building. This is so important. And when you do this, I want you to think about starting with a podcast. And when you're podcasting, you're not just building a business. I want you to remember that. You're not just building a business, you're building a legacy. Your words, your message, your impact, these are going to live long after you've said them. I want you to think about that. Things that you say right now in your podcast, the things you put together, the scripts that you write, the forms you write, the blog posts you write, the improvs you do, the just getting on the microphone and talking, the conversations, all of that lives long after the conversation. That's the legacy you're leaving behind. That's what you're building. And it might just be the legacy of that brand, that company, that business, that endeavor, but it's still legacy. It's still part of you. Your podcast is a permanent recording of your journey, your growth, and your contribution to the world. It's something you can pass down, something that you will inspire future generations to step up and do something different and be creative with it. This, my friends, is the ultimate gift, a legacy of knowledge, empowerment, and transformation. I bet you didn't think I was going to come with the impact like this, that I wasn't going to go this deep with it, but I am. I want you to really look at a podcast and not just think, oh, it's for business, it's something I got to do. I want you to think about the podcast as like, this is how I build legacy. This is my legacy building podcast, my project. That would be a good one. Legacy building podcast, right? I want you to step up and start to really commit to something like this. My podcast has been the center point of everything I have done. I'm proud of that. I'm excited about it. Yes, there's been times I've been stressed out. Yes, there's been times I felt like I didn't want to get on the microphone or the camera. Yes, there's been times I've been overwhelmed by the amount of edits I have to do to my own podcast because I would mess up. But at the end of the day, I look back, I go, that's hard work. That was fun. That was a great conversation. And I can go back and listen to it. And I'm encouraging you to step up and incorporate podcasting into your life. So here's my final thought. And I have a CTA for you. It's really exciting. Stay tuned. Don't miss this. This is great. Okay? Being transparent. Now that I got you all fired up, I hope that you're ready to take action. I hope you're ready to harness the power of podcasting, because I didn't just share this so it can go in one ear and out the other. I really wanted to plant a seed and it grow, and you get to think about the things that podcasting will do for you. I wanted to create a breakthrough in your life, in your business. And that's exactly why I created, here's my CTA, the Podcast Success Secrets Mastermind. You've heard me for many, many episodes now talking about my podcast community mastermind, which was a test group for free inside my Facebook group. And recently, I finally decided to make the shift and go, we have a full-on mastermind now. I am ready to add massive value. I've got the trials and tribulations out of the way. I've seen what's going on. I've seen what people want, what people don't want. I've talked about podcasting through in and throughout. I know this, and now it's ready to make the shift. So I've officially launched, as of a few episodes ago, depending on when you're listening to this, the Podcast Success Secrets Mastermind. And if you're ready to learn podcasting from start to success, to have that roadmap that guides you every step of the way, then you need to join this mastermind. And right now, the doors are open to my Podcast Success Secrets Mastermind, and there's a special offer for a limited time only. So here's how you get access to this mastermind on a new platform as well. It's not inside a Facebook group. For those of you who are like, hey, I'd love to join, but I don't want to do Facebook, I get it. It's a new platform, all new experience. It's amazing. Really give you that one-on-one time if you need it, and the community time. Just go to thepodcastintherough.com/learn. Read about it, click the button, go right to it, check it all out, and I hope to see you inside the Mastermind group. I'm giving away secrets that you can't get anywhere else. I'm giving you ideas and strategies that are customized to you and what you're building out when it comes to podcasting. So join the Podcast Success Secrets Mastermind. This is your moment. Don't let it slip away. Thank you again for joining me on this journey today when I'm at the park. I'm going to go take my walk now, finally, and the sun is about to set. Tune in next week for another great episode of the Podcast in the Rough. And don't forget, step up, make it happen, start your podcast, and join the Mastermind. I'll see you inside. Take care. This is the Podcast in the Rough.